me just say.
Ready? Here they all come at once. Is Herman Cain serious? Is Rick Perry over? Why don't the also-rans get out? Can Romney beat Obama?
Let me just answer a question that was not asked. If nominated, I will not run. But if elected, I will serve. I'm just lazy. I wanted it handed to me. This is a crazy race, but I think it has a theme. And the theme is that Mitt Romney's been bumping along at 20 to 25% for 5 years, not just this cycle. But he's been there for 5 years. He doesn't go up, doesn't go down, doesn't matter. And what you get are these comments coming out of this guy. First you got Donald Trump, remember that? Now there was a serious candidate. And you got Michelle Bachmann, who very surprisingly did sort of pivoted in Iowa, did very well, and then of course, after her rise, she had a fall when Perry stepped in. And he started out with a 14-point lead on Romney, and he's now disappeared. And you can see why in the debates, he just is not up to speed on the national stage. Perhaps, you know, it's not easy to be a rookie to come in cold. National stage is very hard. And I sympathize with him. I mean, he started late. You know, normally when you're a candidate, you go out in these Rotary Hall meetings in New Hampshire for 6 months where you try out your ideas and you find the reactions and you get smooth and you figure out what works. He starts out on national television and he obviously wasn't ready, and I don't know that he can recover. He's got a lot of money and he'll go to the airwaves and he could conceivably win that way. But when you think about how badly he did in debates, you got to think of two things. Number one, he would have to debate Obama, and Obama would eat lunch if he doesn't improve. And second, it's not just that he's not a good debater, but the way he answered questions the other night, it's as if he hasn't really thought through issues like Medicare or China, to which he gave answers having to do with energy independence. Now, energy independence is a great thing, but it's not terribly connected to Medicare. So, Romney did, I think, extraordinarily well. And he's the slow and steady, he's the tortoise. Look, he's the guy the mother tells the girl to marry because he's steady, he's a provider, and he'll be there, rain or shine. And instead, she has the Trump fling, the Bachmann fling, the Perry fling. It's an androgynous daughter. Remember, we're way past don't ask, don't tell. Not that there's anything wrong with it. And now the fling with Cain. Now, I expect he'll come down to earth. On the other hand, there's going to be one anti-Romney. Look, what does all this say? It says that the party is not comfortable with Romney. The base doesn't like him. They don't trust him, and he's not their first choice. The problem is the other choices are not candidates who give the appearance, at least to the broad electorate among the Republicans, of being able to win. And that's why they try people out and then they drop them. Now, there may be one that emerges. It could be Cain. If Bachmann wins Iowa, she could be the one. There will be an anti-Obama. I mean, an anti-Romney at a certain point. But I think in the end, people are going to make this decision. Let me frame it in this way. Bachmann said about the coming election, this time we don't have to settle. Meaning we don't have to settle for the guy we can't rely on ideologically. We're not quite trusting the sort of center-right Romney. We can go for somebody authentically conservative, Tea Party-like conservative. And their model, of course, is 1980. There are two problems with that analysis. Number one, there's no Reagan in the field. If they were, a man who wasn't just a great politician, the governor of a large state for 2 terms, he was a leader of a movement. He'd been leading the movement for 10, 15 years. He'd written, he thought, he was a completely sui generis historical persona. That doesn't exist. So you may have to settle if you don't have a Reagan. You didn't have to settle in 1980, but you may have to now. The second is what she says is made under the assumption that Obama is a slam dunk loser in November next year. He is not. It is true that no president's been reelected since FDR in 36 with unemployment above 7.8%. But these are not normal times. Obama may not be good at governing, he may not be good at leading, but he sure knows how to campaign. He came out of nowhere to beat the Clinton machine in 08 and win the presidency. That is not a mean feat. He is not a stupid man. And he now, unlike 08 where he came out of nowhere with nothing, he now will have the force, the power, the prestige, the aura of the presidency behind him when he runs for re-election. So economic conditions will be bad. But he's already trying to frame a narrative, which I talked about before, about the blame being with the rich, and of course, who protects the rich? The Republicans. That's the argument. The country's in bad shape. You are unemployed because the plutocrats are in charge, and the Republicans are their handmaidens. That's the story. I don't buy it, but you know, a lot of people will. Democrats do. And the question is, will independents win? So he can win. And therefore, you got to ask yourself, if you're a conservative, you truly believe, and I would go to a Bachmann-like a Tea Party conservative, not a moderate, a northeasterner like a Christie or a Ron. You say to them, look, what's the most important thing that's going to happen to the ideological trajectory of America? And that's going to be whether or not Obama is reelected.